Greetings, Wargamers. We're your hosts, Trevor,
Jay,
Josh, and this is Chain Attack.
Chain Attack is sponsored by Discount Games Incorporated. Discount Games Incorporated specializes in customer service, low prices, and prompt shipping. You can find our web store at www.discountgamesinc.com.
Welcome to Chain Attack. I'm your host, Trevor, and my poor puppy is at the vet right now.
Oh no.
Getting ready for frozen peas, huh?
This is his first extended stay. I think he likes the vet quite a bit up to this point. So this is the beginning of the end.
I'm Jay, and I probably should take my cat to the vet, but I don't like taking them to vets because they're generally fine, and it seems like I'm taking them to a shrine of Nurgle where they're kind of going there. But Saki has been losing weight, it seems like, but it also seems likely that the vet's gonna be like, well, she's old, so we don't want to do anything. I don't know.
And I'm Josh, and since we're giving pet updates, my wife is having a conversation, I think mostly to herself here, but we were included in the conversation this weekend about actually house training our 10-year-old beagle and becoming an indoor pet family, which is probably not strange to my co-hosts, but would be a major paradigm shift for the Wheeler clan.
Can I just be the first on record to say that it's horrible? Yeah.
All right, yes. I don't know if you're the first on record, but you're probably the first recorded.
Well, then it's on record.
So would you say
it's
there's
on the internet now?
There's no good way to do it?
With a male? Oh, I don't think so.
See, I don't even know that means it makes a difference.
I think it does make that. So
that's how bad of an idea it is. We're asking. Well, I mean, first of all, that's how bad of an idea it was for me to ever own an app, right?
Okay. Has he been fixed?
Oh yeah.
Was he fixed at a very young age?
Quite young.
One of the things that male dogs do, especially if they haven't been fixed, but some of them they mark their territory just like a grizzly bear.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And it's not necessarily they don't consider it, peeing. Example, they just put a little squirt here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And at 10 years old, I don't think you're ever going to break that.
You can't imagine that he doesn't deeply have that habit, right?
Oh yeah, everywhere he goes, he probably sniffs everything. And if the neighbor dog has peed there, he'll mark over it to try to, make his scent more dominant. I mean, I'm certain he does it everywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure you're probably right.
And I just don't think that particular habit of an older male dog is one that you can break. That one's so ingrained into, thousands of years of evolution that it's for a male dog that gets neutered young, they probably don't do it as much. So there's a possibility that maybe he doesn't do it at all.
I'm sure I've seen him do it, honestly, outside.
I mean, so my grandfather called him, quote, the peeingest dog he'd ever seen.
Wow, okay.
So anytime we would go anywhere, he would basically get out and mark every plant, every tree, everything that was not had not been touched before. He would make sure he went and hit all of them. And that's just the way he was. He liked to mark everything. He was fixed. So yeah, I just don't know that you could. But he'd been raised inside, but I just don't know you could. I have my doubts.
Well, stay tuned. We'll see what comes of it. I'm not holding my breath personally.
Yeah, it's much easier to start on the inside and allow them to go out rather than start on the outside and allow them to come in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess for news from Discount Games Inc., this week we finally have some Asmodee releases coming out, and so Dormammu and Blade and Moon Knight are releasing this week, and I'm super excited. So, huzzah!
I don't know if
Huzzah, indeed.
seen the model for Dormammu. Is it just a really big face with a little planet in front of it that you can?
No,
He's kind of a
actually a
bipedal
really big model.
form, right?
Yeah.
So I can't land on the planet and say I'm here, whatever.
I mean, you will say that anyway. Inevitably, that's going to happen.
I don't think I'll play.
I have a comment about the brick and mortar location of Discount Games Inc., which I was privileged. I was privileged to wander into last weekend, and I want to give apologies to Tom Lehman, who I, for some reason, had just not purchased Res Arcana, but because it was sitting on the shelves at Jay's brick and mortar location, I was drawn in by it and picked it up and played it this weekend. And dang it, it is good.
I thought that you had said that you had played it and didn't like it that much.
I think Trevor played it.
No, I played it. We enjoyed it.
Okay. I mean, okay. I won't lie. I was like concerned that I wouldn't like it because it seems like the elevator pitch for it seems way too simple, right? It's like you have a deck of 10 cards and you honestly don't do that much to add to the cards, but there's still a lot of like interplay between the cards and, a lot of cool stuff that happens with it. So what can I say? I'm a fickle beast.
Okay, Trevor, you can look in the Discord and see the.
Oh, I actually went to Google. The miniature's quite cool.
Oh,
yeah. It's fantastic. They've done a great job.
There's another one coming up soon that will probably be the best sculpt in the game. I don't know, but they've previewed the Hulkbuster, and it's pretty top notch.
Oh wow!
Googles are happening as we.
It's released in Europe. Actually, it's one of the ones that I see people playing with it in Europe, or people have ordered it from Europe here in America and are painting it up, etc. And they're super impressed with the model in person.
So does it include the smaller Iron Man model?
Yes.
Can it like change into the Hulkbuster? Is that what happened?
No, it starts as the Hulkbuster, and then it converts into, when it would flip over onto its injured side. It goes into the smaller Iron Man, and he has kind of crappy stats in his on his weakened side, injured side. But he does have the rule that if he builds up to 10 power, then he can flip over onto the Hulkbuster side.
That's pretty cool. Although that seems like it would be fairly due in the course of a game.
Yeah, I mean it's not likely to happen much at all, but it is super flavorful.
The fact that it's possible is rad.
Etc. Right? Yeah, the few times it does happen, you're going to be like telling your grandkids about it.
You'll be Uncle Rikuing your Marvel Crisis Protocol games.
All right. And I guess real quick on MCP, I think I told you guys about this. I'm not sure, but were you aware that like basically a small update was happening with Crisis Protocol?
I have this memory of you talking about it, yes.
I maybe have struck it from my memory because I don't recall that.
So it's supposed to be sometime this month, and they're changing a few of the core rules, like
I do remember now.
10 tactics cards instead of 8. You pick your crisis cards at random, and that's the one that it goes with. Another change they've said is the person who they're changing it, which I think is great as well. So the person who wins initiative and wins the die roll, there's some changes with like what the second player gets to do, which is also nice. But anyways, if you've been interested in Marvel Crisis Protocol, it's a great time to take a look at it. They're going to have they're also updating the cards, and so those will be free online by the end of the month. So check that out. So before we get into our main topic, I had a quick side topic / question for you guys. So Brian and I it's his birthday this weekend, and so we're doing a trip, and as part of the plan for it, we're going to Disneyland for his birthday.
Like you do.
As one does, yes. And so generally when we go to Disneyland, we'll go in, we'll do something in the parks in the morning. In the afternoon, we'll go back to our hotel and take a nap or watch TV or read or whatever, right? Because that's generally, I mean, depending on the time of year, it's hotter than I want it to be, and also it's the busiest in the parks, and more people than I want to deal with.
Okay.
And then we'll go back into the parks. But so Brian, as I think I mentioned in the bonus episode, he's been into the Star Wars MMO a fair bit, and so my current expectation is that he's going to, play some Star Wars on my laptop on the afternoon. And I was trying to figure out, what I would do to entertain myself during my afternoon siesta, and that was what led to my purchase of The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Whoa. What is happening here?
And so I've purchased, I've downloaded it. I've gone to like the first shrine, so I'm just at the start of the game. But it's a huge step for me. Finally going to play Wind Walker, Breath of the Wild, whatever. I always get the names mixed up.
You said our words.
Yeah. But you guys have any suggestions on someone who's a noob to Breath of the Wild?
Man, it's been so long since I played it. I mean, the fact that you're already playing it to me is all the step that you need. Because the thing about Breath of the Wild, I'm saying this just from watching the way I played it, the way that my youngest son has played it, and the way a couple of my daughters have played it. Like, everybody just kind of goes about it differently, right? Like, I pay almost no attention to Korok seeds, for example. Like, I'm all about, like, give me some sweet, sweet quests, but I do get sort of dragged off into different shrines occasionally, but, like, then my son is like, must have all the Korok seeds, right?
So my only recommendation, don't let any one particular quest get you bogged down. Like if for whatever reason you read the
Don't give
description
up because of.
Well, I'm saying, like, don't be afraid to go
something else.
Go find an online guide or whatever. So I'll give you an example. There's you'll get there because it's not very deep to the game, but there is a you go into one of the towns, one of the early towns, and one of the guys there's like, my chickens got out overnight. Will you help me find my chicken? And there's 6 chickens hidden, or 8 chickens hidden around the town. And it was the quest that sort of I put the game down and didn't come back to. When I came back to, I'm like, oh, I'm still on this stupid chicken mission. And so I shut it off. And then eventually when I did go back, and my daughter was sitting and she's like, oh, you're on the, you have to gather all the chickens. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sick and tired of trying to find the chickens. I had gone like way beyond the
scope of the quest.
Correct. Like I'd been, searching through the mountains around the town. The quest is basically the chickens are all inside the town. But I thought I'd looked everywhere. And my daughter's like, no, where have you been? And we started going through, and she's like, you're missing the one that's on the roof of that house right over there. Like, I don't think so. I think I've been over to that house. Just trust me. So
I love it.
Yeah. So anyway, I get to the top of the house, and of course there's the chicken. So anyway, my point being is that some of the missions, maybe the descriptions aren't quite as good as they, or maybe they're little. Most of them are not like that, but every once in a while, I remember reading one where it was like basically it said follow the road and turn left, go over the blah, and I basically sort of ignored the description and got lost and thought that the town was a lot closer than it really was. And had I actually followed the description, asked somebody else, I would have saved myself, 2 hours worth of exploring, which I enjoyed. And so I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but if you're getting frustrated, there's plenty of guides. So
especially at this point, since Jay's basically waited until the next millennia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
did you guys both beat the game?
Yes. Oh,
I just barely finished.
I wasn't like trying to shame Trevor. I thought the answer we're supposed to give was yes there. Jeez.
Josh, see the pre-ramble.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I will go back eventually and finish it. The problem is that the Switch is most coveted of all game systems in this house.
Yeah. Okay.
And so getting time on it's quite difficult. My middle child has beaten it. My oldest child has not, because she doesn't want to finish it.
She doesn't want to, right?
Yeah, she doesn't want to finish it. So she's done basically everything. And she still goes in and plays all the time, doing all kinds of crazy. So I bought them Hyrule Warriors, which I think is like this, and they're all playing through that right now. Completely different type of game, set in the same year, same character. Even more so than a direct Breath of the Wild. So I'm excited to see how you feel about it. One of the coolest things that I enjoyed the most was the shrines. and the puzzles of figuring them out. And some of them,
Yeah, they're a ton of fun.
Yeah, they're a ton of fun. Some of them are a little twitchier than I would like them to be, but for the most part, they're not bad. There is one that when you get to it, I want to know how you feel about it. My daughter basically made me feel like an idiot. Josh knows the one I'm probably talking about.
I don't know why that gives me such delight that your daughter made you feel like an idiot, but yeah, I get it.
There's one that's sort of like the Labyrinth game. Do you know the one I'm talking about, Josh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I won't spoil it for Jay, but my daughter I tried for forever, and she's just like, "Why didn't you just do this, Dad?" And I was like, so anyway.
All right. Well, let's move into our main segment then. So we have all now watched Star Wars Visions, and we're going to grade that. Do we want? I guess let's start talking about it before we do the grading.
Okay. So Star Wars Visions is a series that's on Disney Plus. It is a bunch of one-shots, essentially, being done by various
anime studios.
Yeah, anime studios. And so they all have very unique styles and storytelling approaches. So that's probably the best for the pitch. Am I missing anything?
I think that's basically it.
They were much shorter than I expected them to be. I'm adding that to the pitch. Whether that's good or bad, I can't say.
What did you expect them? Like what were you
like
coming?
You know, a 24-minute, a 30-minute kind of episode kind of thing?
Some of them were, right?
I will look at the run times, but I feel like there's not there. If there is one, it's maybe only one that's longer than like 17 minutes.
Huh.
Let me see if I can find that.
Well, I can find it. I mean, I can pull up Disney really fast. I expected the part, so I guess maybe.
Yeah, I think I probably just had the wrong expectations.
Jay, did you get what you expected?
I guess the thing that I didn't expect was, I'll say the range and quality of the shows.
Yeah.
Quality of writing, animation, all of the above?
Yeah, all of the above, although I would probably say writing more so than...
So the longest one is 23 minutes. The shortest one is 14.
Yeah, ironically, the longest one is one of my favorites, too.
Spoilers.
I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, but I also made a grave error with this show.
Okay.
So I guess we can start talking some about which ones we liked the best or didn't or whatever, because this kind of leads into that. But I watched the first one on my own, and I loved the first one. It might be my favorite of the entire series.
It's definitely top 3 for me. So you're saying it ended up setting an expectation view for all the rest of it?
No, the story continues. So
okay.
I watched the first one on my own, and then the next day, Brian and I were going to watch something while we were eating dinner, and so went to number 2, and that was Brian's first exposure to the show was number 2. And number 2 is not good, in my opinion. Like I don't think it probably should have been included.
You feel no redeeming qualities out of number 2.
Yes,
I think that's fair. I kind of feel like my co-hosts had seen it before I had and gave me. I think you set my expectations
appropriately low. Yeah.
So it didn't end up bothering me that much. I was like, okay, that was interesting.
Yeah, I did and I guess I probably wouldn't feel as bad also if it had been like. And how many are there total?
9.
Not 9.
Yeah.
9. So it feels like this should have been number 7. But
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, if it hadn't I'm trying. I think it probably is my least favorite of the episodes. Let me think here.
Which one?
The Tatooine Rhapsody or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite by a long margin.
So then we watched number 3, The Twins, and at that point, Brian was like, "Okay, are we done here?"
Because he didn't like the twins either.
Yeah, I don't. Well, he was just
I
so
didn't love
soured
the
from
twins,
Tatooine
so I
Rhapsody.
mean, I'm fine if like the twin position a whole.
It's kind of funny to me. So a lot of my friends have like very divergent opinions on this. Like one of my friends thinks that this is probably his favorite show ever, this anthology.
Okay.
Another one of my friends, yeah, right.
I mean, I
Another
love season 2. I want to go on the record here before we get much further into grading.
And
Yeah.
his favorite one is the twins, and I asked him why, and he's like, well, because it's basically the one that's like the most ridiculous anime tropey, etc. out of all of them. And so, I don't know. I think that maybe I might be.
Are we old men?
It might not.
Are we like shaking fists at clouds right now, Jay? Is that what's happening?
Well, no, I still enjoyed it, but I don't think that I'm going to enjoy this as just like hardcore into anime.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know. And what did you guys think?
So let me just preface everything by saying this is something that I never thought we would see.
Right, and something that like it sounds like I'm being kind of critical of it, but I'm also super happy that this got made.
Yeah, I mean that's my thing is there's a bunch of these that I thought were plain awful that I hated, but that doesn't mean I don't want more of it.
That's interesting. Okay.
It just means that the ones that I didn't like didn't resonate with. But the Star Wars universe too many times goes back to the exact same well. I don't want that. I think the universe has a lot of depth, and some of the best properties outside of the movies, when you get into the books and the comics and everything else, some of the best properties don't go back to the well. And these are ideas that I think have a potential to take it in new directions. So that's why I love it, and I would love to see more of it. But that said, do I want more TOB1 or whatever that the baby the child android
droid Jedi, the droid
Hell
Jedi?
no, I don't want any more of that.
That was rough.
Yeah, don't bring that thing near me ever again. But I'm certain there will be something like it in the next season that I will also do. But that's okay. I don't. Because there was some pretty cool stuff here. Are any of these so great that I'm like, okay, this needs to be part of canon? Probably not. But I don't know that they were given the amount of time and effort that a full feature. They were kind of, hey, we're given the opportunity to do something. Let's try something cool. Let's do it. And there's some fun ideas here, although some of them don't feel like they're fully fleshed out.
Yeah.
So I am kind of curious. What would you guys say are your top 3 episodes?
Top 3 for me, I'm gonna say the Duel, the Ninth Jedi, and I think the Elder, because I like when the villain is a cranky old man.
My top 3 is identical to Josh.
In that same order? Like in the order I just said?
No, I'm not sure. I would probably put the Elder as either first or second. Ninth Jedi would probably be third, and then the Duel would be first or second.
So the Duel
I liked the Padawan and Master, the Elder, quite a bit as well. Besides the cranky old man part.
Yeah, so the Padawan and the Master, most favorite part of that episode. I don't know if I'm ready to actually rank them, but I did not. The Duel is not my top 3. I actually like the Village Bride.
Yeah, I like that one as well. Yeah.
Probably more than that. So for me, it's good. And I don't want, these aren't the order, but the Elder, the Ninth Jedi, and the Village Bride are by my top. I really enjoyed episode 8. I don't know how to say that, Lopin until near the end, and then I like the last.
The one with the rabbit, right?
Rabbit?
That's what. One of the characters seemed like a rabbit to me in Lopinoch.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong one.
Oh, which one are you thinking of? What happens at the end?
Oh yeah, no, that's the wrong one. I'm thinking of a different one. I did enjoy that one. I must be thinking of. There was one where there was a old Jedi that had been a friend of the family, was helping must be the last one.
Akariri?
Yeah.
Akakiri.
Yeah, they came back because the lady of the house had murdered the Lord and had become a Sith. Anyway, I actually.
That sounds like...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I.
That is that one.
Yeah, I think so.
I did.
So you liked that up until what?
The last 5 minutes, it went off the rails and then made no sense. It was just kind of weird. The ending did not. It didn't go where I thought it was. It felt like they'd ran out of time to write.
Okay.
We'll just throw an ending in here.
Cram it in, baby.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, this story has some teeth to it, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, we're gonna make a nonsensical ending. Here you go. And I was like,
and go.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, wait, but it's also it's one of the short ones. It's 14 minutes, and it really felt like it was going to take, like it was going to be one of the 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden the thing goes from something interesting to going completely, like it's one of those adventures where I'm running as the GM and I didn't plan far enough ahead and the players don't want to stop, and so I come up with something at the last second and the players are like, that makes sense, why would he do that? And I'm like,
Isn't that when you say don't question the DM?
yeah, well, that's what I got from that episode. Don't question.
It's fair.
Because it made no sense. Anyway, so the La Pinocha one, actually, that one's one I'm not remembering. It is the one with the rabbit Jedi in it.
Yeah.
Well, are we ready to move on to grading?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, Josh.
So,
what's your first category?
Design.
So I'm going to take this from a slightly different perspective and go to the Disney studio, the office where this decision was made.
Where it got green lit.
Correct. I'm going to give it a 10 from there.
Nice.
Because I think that this sort of thing, especially from established properties, needs to happen more often. And I just think it's really cool. If I have to judge the series from that, it's really hard because there's some that are just...
Well, because exactly what we said, just the
Yeah,
variety and quality.
Yeah.
The range and quality is really high.
Yeah. And there's some that, like, I kid you not, when I finished the TOB1 one, and also when I finished the Tatooine Rhapsody one.
I love that you hate that one so much.
I didn't want to go on. I'm like,
I didn't like the Tatooine Rhapsody one that very much, but like the TOB1 one did not offend my sense of mortality.
Yeah, well, I mean, you like
me.
Bluey as well, so what can you say? I don't.
Oh, that's fair.
No, Bluey is funny. This was none of us.
That's true. It was not funny.
It was like I'm like, if this is what the possibility of the next 3 episodes are, I don't know that I want to continue.
Yeah, I guess maybe my statement about the placement of Tatooine Rhapsody was maybe false then, if it's going to lead people to quit the series, or if I got slotted later. But
oh yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
It's hard to know when to hit them with the inertia.
Yeah. I mean, they were short enough that we made it past that one pretty quick. So we watched the first four episodes in the first night. So we finished on The Village Bride, and like, oh yeah, we can do some more of this. And I was certainly excited after the Tatooine Rhapsody kind of. I'm like, okay, well, certainly there's going to be another duel or something.
And indeed there was. It was called The Elder. So for design, I'm going to split the difference because I like the way Trevor was talking about it. I think it is fair to say a 10 for them, taking the chance and doing something like this with their established property. But I'm going to give it like a 6, if you make them all stand on their own. So I'm just going to average those two and say my number is an 8 for design overall.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to make them stand all on their own, truly, there's less than half of it I really liked. So I'm going to give it less than half a score and call it. Our numbers are all over. I love it.
Brilliant. Jay?
So I want to say 8 because I'm just such a fucking fanboy. But
wow, 8 is the fanboy number.
Well, and I do feel like the ones that were good were really good, and I enjoyed them quite a bit. But there were more times than I would have liked where I was like, this is kind of dragging on.
WTH, mate.
I'm ready for the next episode, etc. So I'll probably go with the 6. But I will also agree with Trevor that I'm 10 on green lighting this.
I like it.
Okay, next category.
Time management. I feel like we've addressed this one a little bit in the way we were talking about, like some of them you expecting them to go a little longer and them getting cut off too quick. For me, this is honestly a super high number though, because they're like just the right length for me to like
bite-sized morsels.
Yes, and to basically be able to like suck my family into watching them later with me, and not being a very big commitment. So I like that quite a bit.
What's your number?
I'm gonna say a 9, honestly, because short and sweet is just right for me.
I think I'll go with 6 again, just because it felt like there were too many times where I was struggling to have it hold my attention.
Okay, Trevor.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. Do you guys know anything about how it was greenlit or how much money was? I mean, were they just given the opportunity and they had to pay for it themselves?
Yeah, right. Or did they like audition to be able to do it or that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm sort of wondering. I don't know enough about anime studios, but some of these, I'm just wondering if, like, I'm wondering had they been given a larger budget, would the writing be better? Because one of the things about anime is, yes, a lot of times they're kind of crazy or weird or strange, but the good ones have amazing writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you sit down and you're like, man, this is weird, but I'm loving it. And that was not the case on a lot of these episodes. I was like, man, this is weird, but I am not loving it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if, maybe anyway. I struggled to the gems. I could go back and rewatch, but the other ones were. I had to rewatch one of them 4 times. Maybe I think it was La Pinocho.
So to be like, what did I just watch, kind of thing?
No, I just kept falling asleep. Like we watched it with my wife and my daughter, and they watched it all the way to the end, and then they're like, "You're gonna have to rewatch it, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sorry." And I'd turn it back on, play it again. I'd maybe make it 2 or 3 more minutes into it, and then I'd fall asleep again. I literally watched it 4 times before I finished. So for me, if they were much longer and I had to deal with that sort of varying quality, I don't think I went through. So I guess the length is probably appropriate for the quality, but I want them.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I'm gonna say maybe 5, slightly below average.
Okay.
Next category.
Repeatability. I give this one pretty high marks because I'm looking forward to, like I said, watching it with family again, which is high praise for me for a show and or movie, right? I'm gonna give it a 7 repeatability, I think. Trevor, you've clearly watched several of them repeatedly already.
Yeah, but I'll be honest. If I ever go back and rewatch it, I will skip. I have no desire to watch several. Just I'll only watch
full on like Toby is the episode we do not speak of kind of thing, right?
Yes. I will not watch that. I will not watch Akiri, the last one.
Akariri. Yeah, who knows?
I will not watch Tatooine Rhapsody again. I don't think I'll watch the. Honestly, I'd probably just watch 1 or 2. But
so there are some individual episodes that definitely rank higher for you on the repeatability scale. That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, the truth is I don't know that the payoff is enough for me to go back. They're kind of they're neat. They were fun for the one time, but they're not fleshed out enough for me to to really go back and watch them. If it was let's see, the Ninth Jedi was episode 2 or 3 of a 24 episode, 23-minute long each episode anime, I would guarantee to go back. But a single episode out of that whole season and don't get the remainder of the story or just a small chunk of it. Yeah, I just don't have enough desire to maybe the proper term is I don't have enough bandwidth. There's other things in my time.
Sure, that makes sense.
So I'm going to give it fairly low with the idea that I could change it if these were actually made a series. I would be more than would go back and read.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if they made the Ninth Jedi season, I'd absolutely watch that and other episodes in the series.
So you said your number's going to be fairly low. So what is it, Trevor?
I mean, for me,
yeah,
the chance of not good. I mean, I'll rewatch some pretty crappy shows.
So this is really damning with faint praise here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like a 2, 3, maybe. It's just
wow.
I don't have a lot of desire to go back and rewatch them.
I'll probably say a 5.
Okay. We're on to fun. I mean, for me, the moments that were fun were like a freaking ton of fun. Loved Ninth Jedi. Loved The Elder. I think it's still pretty high for me. I'm gonna give that a 7 too. I don't know why I'm allowing myself to use 7s today. Don't ask me.
The funny thing is, some of the ones
Okay.
The funny thing is, some of the ones that I hated, I probably wouldn't have hated them that much if they were in a different setting.
Oh, interesting. Okay. The Star Warsiness of them poisoned. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm simultaneously praising them for getting outside the box, and at the same time damning them too far outside the box.
Is this like hating card games? Is that what's happening right now, Trevor?
I don't know, but yeah, I found them quite fun. The idea, I'm actually going to give a fairly high rating. Like I said, this is something I never thought we would see. And while this was under George Lucas, I just don't think this is something we would have seen.
Yeah, well, I think that's fair.
Yeah, because I mean, I think would have been hard for him to see
the value in it.
His baby potentially butchered the way that Toby did.
Jeez. Almighty.
Um,
I can't
although,
believe you hate the droid Jedi more than you hate the microphone lightsaber.
no, I hate that one about equal. The funny thing is he's like the type to, like, he probably liked it.
You're saying George Lucas probably did?
Yeah, he's the type to.
That's funny.
Anyway, I think overall the fun was fairly. This is the type of thing about your favorite property, so I'm gonna say it's
Right.
probably a 7 or.
Jay, where were you at on the fun?
I think I said 6.
Okay, that's right. I think you did. Okay, so overall, I can't remember where I saw on the internet, it was a meme or something that said like they should have called Visions like Star Wars What If. And I'm not sure how I feel about that pitch or not, but I thought it was sort of just a clever comment more than anything.
I actually like that as a marketing. Right? I think it's actually. I think they properly labeled it.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, having said all that, I think my overall is I'm gonna stick with the 7. I think it's a 7. I think it's fun. I think it was a good first effort. And I should look at what did I give What If? Oh, also a 7. Haha, I got sucked in by my own rhetoric. I'm clearly a Star Wars fanboy.
And it is kind of an interesting compare and contrast. I personally feel like What If was significantly better than Visions.
Yeah.
I think that too, yeah. So I should actually probably give a lower number over here. What if this had tied in?
Or you should have given better to What If.
Okay, that's fair. You guys probably caught me in a mood or something. I don't know. Oh, you did actually. You caught me after I had watched the Doctor Strange What If with my family. Remember?
Yeah.
That was the problem.
So, I hate to be harsh, but the overall quality is not that great. Like I said, I'm not going to go back and rewatch it. It's the type of thing that, like, if somebody, from Disney called me up and said, "Hey, you were talking bad about our Visions," I would be like gushing to them over. Please, I'm sorry I spoke ill of your property. Please make more.
Please make more. But just none with TOB1 in them. You sons of guns.
So it's a weird feeling. I would say that this is a fairly below average property, even on any streaming service. You can find the hits and misses. If you were to tell me, ask me what the whole season is, I'd call it a miss overall. But the thing is it's not one property. It's not one series of shows.
Right.
So there's definitely ones among them. I
am probably overall with a 6. It's trending toward this. A 6+.
A D+.
Man, I'm surprised by all this.
You are?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's the danger of making potpourri.
Yeah, it kind of is. But I want more potpourri because I love to pick and choose the smells I like.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess to wrap things out, I'm guessing we might do a future episode on this, but I started the tutorial of Gloomhaven Digital.
Oh, exciting!
And I'm thinking of trying to set up a weekly game with some friends that moved to Ohio. But like I said, I expect we're going to do a full grade of this in an episode. But I know you guys have been playing it some. What's been your impressions so far?
Well, I can't remember if we talked about it on the air, but I mean, for me, it's a really incredible implementation of the game. Like, it's really well done. It's much harder than I remember it, like the game, and maybe I cheat or something when I don't have the computer arbitrating the rules. I don't know.
No, so here's one of the things I'm gonna, and yeah, we'll get into it more later, but I'm currently playing in 4 different campaigns. One solo, one with Josh and his father, one with some other friends, Rick and Adrian, and then one with my son. And I've played the most solo, obviously. You can play those.
Whenever.
It's the type of game. It's also because it's a very, very, like turn-based, but even more so to the point where I can just walk away, go eat dinner, come back, take my next turn. You mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But the game that I'm playing solo, I have completed 15 missions, something like that. Or it might be more than that. I think it's more than that. But anyway, one of my characters had the personal goal to exhaust himself 12 times.
Oh, my lands.
And he's already retired because the difficulty feels just very different. And here's my thought, or the reason why it is. Because the game rules tell you that if there are two options, the players choose. The digital implementation does not give you that option. It chooses. And when the players choose, they're obviously going to choose the thing that is most advantageous for them. When the digital game chooses, it chooses the most advantageous for it.
That dirty AI.
And that may not sound like much, but I think it's a really big deal. Like there's a lot of times where, especially in larger games, where there's things that the players can do that are well within the rules that will screw the AI over. And the AI in the digital invitation never does those things.
And I'm basically at the point where I'm like, I have zero interest in buying the physical copy of Frosthaven because I'll just wait
Because you've
for the
started
digital
playing the
version.
digital implementation. I think you're
Yeah,
smart.
and I have like negative negative numbers interest in playing a physical version of Gloomhaven. So
how far did you get, Jay? Did you guys
think about a third or halfway, maybe.
about how many classes do you think you had on?
I think most of us were on our second or third.
Okay. So in the game that I played, I think most of us were on our third, and one guy was on his fifth.
Mhm.
But I don't think we're near the end. Anyway, I'm
Right,
wondering,
yeah.
because the thing is I don't think I'm ever going to fit the physical copy of Gloomhaven.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I am going to finish the digital copy. Not with any of the groups I mentioned.
You'll get to 2/3. And then stop.
I actually think it's finished.
Yeah, I should get back to doing solo. The only times I've played now, I played one time solo, and then the only other times I played, I end up playing with my dad, or the one time I got to play with you, Trevor. And the problem is that's like fracturing my time spent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to pull together. I mean, it's just as hard. I don't want to say it's work, but it's definitely just as hard as getting them at the table.
It is for me. I'm such a freaking old man. I mean, back to Jay's real time or comment about watching me real time descend into cranky, seniorhood. That's one where I manifest it all the time.
I know the game with my son and I. He'll lose.
Lose interest, yeah.
Oh, sure.
All right,
But
well.
I want to see the end, and this is how it's going to happen. So.
Yeah, that's correct. I guess let us know what you guys think of Visions, and let us know what your experience has been with Gloomhaven Digital so far.